Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss how to solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Now I have here 4 quadratic trinomials. Can you tell which of the following are perfect square trinomials? Let's look at item number 1. X squared plus 4x plus 4. Is it a perfect square trinomial? Yes, it is. How about item number 2? X squared minus 10x minus 25. Is it a perfect square trinomial? No, it's not. Number 3. 6x squared minus 12x plus 9. Is it a perfect square trinomial? No, it's not. How about number 4? 4x squared minus 20x plus 25. Is it a perfect square trinomial? Yes, it is. The terms of a perfect square trinomial have the following characteristics. First term is a perfect square. So here, item number 1, our first term, x squared, is a perfect square. Number 2, x squared is a perfect square. Number 3, 6x squared is not a perfect square. So that's why this one here already fails. And item number 4, 4x squared, is a perfect square. Last term is a perfect square. So item number 1, 4 is a perfect square. Negative 25 is not a perfect square. So that's why it fails. Then item number 3, it already failed. Then the last term of item number 4 is 25, so it's a perfect square. Now, the middle term is twice the product of the square roots of the first and the last terms. So here, item number 1, square root of x squared is x, square root of 4 is 2, 2 times x is 2x, then twice it's 4x. So that's why it's a perfect square trinomial. And for item number 4, okay, square root of 4x squared is 2x, square root of 25 is 5, so 5 times 2x is 10x, double it, 20x. That's why item number 4 is a perfect square trinomial. Now, give the middle term to make each a perfect square trinomial. So remember, the middle term is twice the product of the square roots of the first and the last terms. X squared plus 1 plus 100. The answer is 20x. How? Okay, twice the square root of x squared times square root of 100. Square root of x squared is x, square root of 100 is 10, so 10 times x is 10x, then twice, that's 20x. How about number 2? X squared minus what plus 25? The answer is 10x. How? The square root of x squared is x, the square root of 25 is 5, so 5 times x is 5x, then twice, that's 10x. How about number 3? Yes, it's 28x. How? The square root of 4x squared is 2x, then the square root of 49 is 7. 7 times 2x is 14x. Then twice, it's 28x. How about item number 4? Yes, it's 24x. How? Square root of 9x squared is 3x. Square root of 16 is 4. 4 times 3x is 12x, then twice is 24x. Now, these 4 items here are already perfect square trinomials. How do we express each as a square of a binomial? So to express this as a square of a binomial, we will just get the square root of the first term, okay, x squared, and that's going to be the first term of our binomial. And then the square root of 100 is 10, so that's going to be the second term of our binomial, and the sign of the second term is positive. So x plus 10 squared. Now how about number 2? Square root of x squared is x, square root of 25 is 5, the sign of the second term is minus, so it's x minus 5 quantity squared. How about number 3? Square root of 4x squared is 2x, square root of 49 is 7, the sign of the second term is minus, so that's 2x minus 7 quantity squared. Then how about item number 4? The square root of 9x squared is 3x, then the square root of 16 is 4, and the sign of the second term is positive, so that's 3x plus 4 quantity squared. Now how about this? Give the last term to make each a perfect square trinomial. So x squared minus 18x plus what? So here, since the numerical coefficient of our leading term is 1, we can just get half of 18, then square it. So that's 81. Again, half of 18, okay, it's 9, then square it, it's 81. How about number 2? The coefficient of x squared here is 1. So get half of 7, then square it. So that's 49 over 4. Again, half of 7 is 7 over 2, then square it, that's 49 over 4. How about number 3? So since the numerical coefficient of our leading term is not 1, we cannot apply this technique. Now we will devise a way how to find the last term, okay, if the leading coefficient is not 1. So we will let this first term here to be a, and then the second term b, and the last term, the unknown term, c. So let's remember that the middle term is twice the product of the square roots of the first and the last terms. So that means b, the middle term, equals twice the square root of the first term times square root of the last term. Now we are going to divide both sides by 2 square root of a. Now this 2 square root of a cancels out, so we have now b over 2 times square root of a equals square root of c. Now to get rid of the square root sign, we square both sides, and therefore we have this formula. To find c, we square the middle term, the b, and then we multiply the first term by 4. So square of 12x is 144x squared, and 4 times 4x squared is 16x squared. And then, since it's dividing, so cancel out x squared, and then 144 divided by 16, our answer is 9. how about item number 4? We will use this formula. Okay, we square the middle term and then we multiply the first term by 4. So the square of 8x is 64x squared, and then 9x squared times 4 is 36x squared. Then this x squared cancels out, and 64 over 36 is 16 over 9. So this is our last term. Now we are ready to solve quadratic equations by completing the square. So number 1, x squared minus 4x minus 2 equals 0. The first thing we are going to do here is to move the constant to the right hand side of the equation. So we are going to add 2 on both sides. So it becomes x squared minus 14x equals 2. Now we are going to complete the square. So that means we need one more term here. And to complete the square, we get 1/2 of 14, which is 7. Then square it, it becomes 49. So we add 49 here. And since we add 49 on the left-hand side of the equation, we also have to add 49 on the right-hand side of the equation. Now, we can simplify 2 plus 49. So that's 51. The left-hand side of our equation is a perfect square trinomial. So we can express this perfect square trinomial as square of a binomial. So it becomes the quantity x minus 7 squared equals 51. Now, to get rid of this square here, we find the square root of both sides. So we have square root of the quantity x minus 7 squared equals the positive and negative square root of 51. Now, the left-hand side of the equation becomes x minus 7 equals the right-hand side of the equation is plus and minus square root of 51. Since we are solving for x, meaning to say we will isolate x, so we are going to add 7 on both sides. So it becomes x equals 7 plus and minus square root of 21. So we have 2 solutions. The first one is using the plus sign, and the second one is using the minus sign. So the solutions are 7 plus square root of 51 and 7 minus square root of 51. Example number 2. Let us solve x squared plus 20x plus 2 equals 0 by completing the square. So the first thing we are going to do is to move this constant to the right hand side of the equation. So we are going to subtract 2 from both sides. So it becomes x squared plus 20x equals negative 2. Now we are going to complete the square. So that means we need one more term here. So we get 1/2 of 20, which is 10, then square it, it's 100. So we add 100 here on the left hand side and also 100 on the right hand side. Now we can simplify negative 2 plus 100, that's 98. Now the left hand side of the equation is a perfect square trinomial. So we can express this as square of a binomial, and it becomes the quantity x plus 10 squared equals 98. Now to get rid of this square here, we are going to find the square root of both sides. So we have now square root of the quantity x plus 10 squared equals the positive and negative square root of 49 times 2. 49 times 2 are the factors of 98. Now, the left-hand side of the equation becomes x plus 10, and the right-hand side equals the positive and negative 7 square root of 2. So, square root of 49 is 7. Now, since we are solving for x, meaning to say we will isolate x, so we are going to subtract 10 from both sides. So we have x equals negative 10 plus and minus 7 square root of 2. So this means we have two solutions. The first one is using the plus sign and the other one is using the minus sign. So the solutions are negative 10 plus 7 square root of 2 and negative 10 minus 7 square root of 2. Now your turn. Solve these two equations by completing the square. So number 1, x squared minus 8x plus 5 equals 0. And number 2, x squared plus 12x plus 30 equals 0. You can pause the video and take your time solving these two equations. If you are done, I can now show you the answer. For number 1, the solutions are 4 plus square root of 11 and 4 minus square root of 11. These are the details of our solution. And then for number 2, the solutions are negative 6 plus square root of 6 and negative 6 minus square root of 6. And these are the details of our solution. Did you get the two items right? I hope you did. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Teacher Rejil. Keep safe.